Hello, I'm Eric Davis, El Presidente 2020, and Viva la Fiesta. During these times, we're going to take the time to interview and talk with some of the participants of Fiesta 2020. And we have the privilege today, the absolute privilege to welcome in the 2020 Spirit of Fiesta, Alena Velasco. Alena, congratulations and welcome.
Hi, thank you.
So what's this been like for you initially, for you and your studio and the whole town of Lompoc?
Well, at first it was very overwhelming, but after it all settled in, I was just very appreciative of all the love I've been getting, especially within my community, because a lot of people from Lompoc haven't been selected as Spirit. So it is a really big deal for me and my studio, and I'm very grateful for all their support and all your support too. I really appreciate everything Old Spanish Days has done for me so far.
Yeah, it's been a wonderful, wonderful experience. But let's start at the beginning. I've seen some pictures of you very young dancing. When did this start? When did this passion start for you?
So I started at Garcia Dance Studio when I was 4 years old. So I've been dancing with Laura for 14 years now, which is very exciting. And I've been part of Fiesta since then too. So I've been dancing in Fiesta my whole life. I've seen everything. I've been everywhere, and I love it. I love dancing everywhere with my studio and within my community. But it really started becoming a passion around the time that I tried out for Junior Spirit when I was around about 8 years old. And that's when I really wanted to get into it, and I really wanted to push for Spirit and just inspire everyone else to push themselves as well. So that's where my passion pretty much started.
But you've got years of dancing ahead between the time you start and by the time you're actually able to audition as Junior Spirit. I mean, that's a lot of time put in.
Yeah, and I didn't realize until I started pushing that everything was leading me up to this, and it just made me appreciate it more and all my training and my teachers more. So,
you know, one of the things that just amazes me about the Spirits of Fiesta is they're just well-rounded, special people, and your academic excellence is incredible, your volunteerism. Can you talk a little bit about that, and how did that come about?
well, school wasn't always easy for me. When I had something that I wanted to push for, school started becoming easier because I had a goal. And I really started pushing myself in high school because when I first started, I didn't have that many friends, and my only outlet was dance. So, and that helped me more, and that put me out there more. It made me push myself, and I don't know where I would be without dance, honestly. And my academic excellence is probably because of dance, honestly. If I didn't have it, I mean, obviously I'd still have good grades, I'd still graduate, I'd still volunteer and all that, but I don't think it would have been as important to me, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. You know, and this year's theme is Vamos a Bailar, because it resonated with me. To me, the best of Fiesta, it lives in the dance, the emotion, the history, the passion, the costumes, all of that. And what a perfect spirit for this year. Absolutely perfect. Yeah, that's really nice to hear, to say that, you know, dance is behind all of this for you.
Yeah, it really was.
And so what's it like? I mean, that's a lot of hours you got to put in at the studio. Was it something that you really enjoyed? And talk a little bit about that process before you got to audition for Junior Spirit.
Well, I wasn't, because I was part of Fiesta, obviously, but I'd always seen the Spirit and the Junior Spirit, but I had never really thought that I could do it because I wasn't from Santa Barbara. But when my director came to me and said, you should try out for Junior Spirit, I was like, because I didn't think I could. So I had always been in the more advanced groups at my studio. So ever since I was little, I was in 5 or 6 dances each year. So I had 5 different costumes, 5 different routines to memorize, traveling, dancing all over the place. So that helped me a lot without realizing it. But once my director told me, and like that switch flipped, and I was like, oh, everything I've done up until this point has prepared me for this, and now I just have to push even more.
So you made it to the, did you say Junior Spirit auditions?
Yes, I was part of the top 10.
Were you nervous? What was that like?
I was so nervous, but I had a fun dance. It was a Rumba. It was called Chocolate. I had a pink and brown dress. I remember it very specifically. And I just tried my best because I didn't know any better. I mean, all I knew is that I had to dance and have fun and put a smile on my face, and I knew that my mom was out there and my director was out there supporting me, and that's all I like was dancing for. Yeah. Myself and my directors and my parents.
Pure joy. We talked to Alexandra a few minutes ago, and she said she's keeping all her dresses and always has. What do you still have a closet full?
Oh yeah, I still have the very first dress I ever danced in. It's so tiny. Like, I can't believe I was that small. But yeah, I do have a lot of dresses, and I can still fit into some of them from like 5 years ago, which is crazy. But I do have a lot of dresses. I have a lot of shoes, but a lot of my accessories I've passed down to other dancers that might need them, that might not be able to afford them, or just needs to borrow them. So I give and get too. So.
And after the Junior Spirit auditions, there's a gap in age before you can. So I mean, you really have to be dedicated. You're either I'm gonna do this for the next few years, all out, or where were you after that?
So after Junior Spirit, I kept dancing. I loved it. And then a few years after that is where I kind of went a little bit downhill. I got in kind of a rut, and I did not like dancing. It just became something negative for me. It wasn't an outlet for me anymore. And I was just kind of blocked. But after I started high school, so when I was about 14, 15, I started dancing with the Sapphire dance team and the LHS dance company at my high school. And that really sparked my passion again, if I have to be honest. My director, Bree Jansen at Lompoc High School for the Sapphire dance team, she really helped me. And then I continued at my studio. I didn't give up because I knew I couldn't forgive myself if I ever left. So I stayed with Laura, and I pushed through it, and school helped. And so it wasn't always easy. I'm not going to sit here and act like it was picture perfect, because it wasn't. But I'm just glad that I'm here again, where I love what I do and I love what I'm doing. And I want to share that with other people. So I'm glad I got back to this point again.
Yeah, it's a really good message for this year. It's not been easy. It's not been difficult, but we've got to find a way to bring joy to this community. And dance is one way we can do that. And maybe having that background where it's not always been easy has made you such a bright light in these times. Yeah. So as we get in, and now you're approaching the opportunity to dance for the spirit of Fiesta. Mm-hmm. Did you try out before, or was this your first Spirit of Fiesta audition?
No. So I tried out my sophomore year of high school. I was 15, 16 when I tried out, and I made it to the top 10. I used this exact shawl that I'm wearing right now in my audition. And that's the year Jessalyn McCollin won. And everyone was so sweet to me. But coming in, like I said before, I wasn't part of this, that tight-knit Santa Barbara community that everyone else is. So coming in from Lompoc, I was so nervous, very, very nervous. But once I did it and I got to the top 10, and even though I didn't win, I was like, I can keep doing this if I want to. I'm part of it. That people know who I am now. I put myself out there. And of course, I've always been a part of it, but just having that little bit of recognition really helped. And my junior year, I took a year off. I didn't try out that year because I wanted to build up my body more. I wanted to push myself more because I knew I really wanted it this year. I really wanted it because it's my senior year. I was a captain on the dance team for 2 years, and I wanted it to be special, and I got it, and I couldn't be happier.
So you knew 2 years out that this was your moment, that you were going to try it. Wow. I remember.
I wanted it so bad, and I pushed for it, and I knew I had so many people behind me, more than I had before. Because now I have an entire community with me, and it's just, besides just like, of course I appreciate my parents in my studio, but just the overwhelming support and positive energy that I get, like, I don't think I would have been here without it.
And then we get into this year, and I remember you from the photos we took at the mission. I believe you and your mom came. We took some portraits, and then before that were the pre-auditions. What were you thinking going there, going into that room?
Auditions. My first year trying out, like I said, I was completely nervous. I was very timid and I didn't know anyone, so I just kind of kept to myself. But trying out again for the pre-auditions this year, I was much more confident and I was much more out there. I could tell a difference in how I presented myself, definitely. And I could see familiar faces at the pre-auditions, so I try to talk to people, because one thing I remembered is that there was always one person that came up to me to talk to me, to see how I was. And I wanted to be that person for someone, because I know how hard I had it and how much pressure I put on myself. So I just want to be that release for someone else.
And did you know you nailed it that day?
No, I had no clue. I just went in because I had stressed about it so much the previous time. Last time I felt like I had just the world on my shoulders. But this time I went in with just a clear head, and I just danced as best as I could, and I just hoped that was the best. And apparently it was. So
You did your best that day.
I think that's one of the lessons coming out of this is you never know what the future holds. Give it your best to each day.
yeah, you really don't.
Yeah. And one of the things I learned later, and I think it was after lunch, that you were injured too.
Oh yeah, I was injured. So I pulled my groin, my inner thigh, right before our competition season on my dance team. So I sat out our whole competition season, which is a few months actually, but I still helped choreograph for it. I still helped direct and train everyone, and I just did as much as I could because I couldn't dance. And yeah, that was another rough patch for me too, because I couldn't do what I loved, but I just kept pushing, and I healed a little bit, but I was still injured. It wasn't fully healed when I tried out at the pre-audition, so it did hurt after, but I just tried my best, because that's all you can do. You can't stop in the middle of a dance if you feel a pull, unless like your leg's broken, but you just have to keep going, and that's what I did.
I love that story. And then we had the finalists over. It was the first time we got together at the Carriage Museum for just a recognition, not knowing what the future holds. And everybody shows up, and it was just so beautiful to be together. And then the next week, or maybe the week after that, you come around the corner at the Arlington Theater and describe that moment.
Well, I had a feeling it was kind of weird, but I wasn't gonna say anything to my parents, because my mom was all dressed up. She's usually never dressed up, so I was a little, but I thought we were just having a meeting with the other spirits, And I was like, okay. So I turn the corner, and then I see you and your wife Angelique, and I'm just like, oh God, this is it. And like I just like froze, and I could feel tears welling up in my eyes, and I just like dropped to the ground because I was just like in disbelief. And then my heart was pounding the rest of the day, just out of excitement and happiness.
Yeah, what a really special moment. I'll never forget that. And fortunately, in this virtual day, we have it on video to live forever. I don't know if you've rewatched that moment,
I have.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. And your parents were so proud. And what did they tell you going into that? What, did they say they had a meeting of some sort?
Yeah, my mom told me that we have a meeting on the Sunday that you guys surprised me, and I was a little bit confused because I thought, well, maybe it's a meeting before they announce the spirit, or they're going to announce the spirit at the meeting. But I didn't question it because I didn't, think anything of it, because I thought, the spirit would have been announced like on social media with like a picture or something. But when I found out, I was like, oh my goodness. I was in disbelief.
Yeah.
But my parents, they're very proud of me. They're very proud of me, and I appreciate them so much.
We all are. This whole community, all these communities are very proud of you, and we're thankful for you. And then we walked out a little bit further, and your name's on the marquee of the Arlington Theater.
I know.
I mean, that's usually like Brad Pitt and all the movie stars. I mean, you dropped again. I remember you had a reaction there too.
It was like surreal. Like I've never seen my name that big in letters before. And I was just, in disbelief. And then we saw Alexandra come, and her reaction warmed my heart. And then I saw our names together on the marquee, and I was just like, this is our little Fiesta family now. And I can't wait to get it started. I was just so excited to start already.
What did you make? Did you make any calls right away? Did you make any calls right away, or did you let it sink in a bit?
I let it sink in. I didn't make any calls, but I got a lot of messages. But I try not to look at my phone because I just wanted to process it for myself first before I got, bombarded with a bunch of messages and calls. But hearing everyone's, calls to me and everyone's messages it was just really sweet.
Yeah. And we had some time that day to kind of relax a little bit afterwards, and having the space. It was a beautiful day. One of I'll never forget. It's probably the highlight of my year so far. And then talk to me about that sash. You get the coveted spirit sash.
Yes.
Have you taken it off since?
Have I taken
Yeah.
It's so beautiful. Like I can't stop staring. Like the detail is just like insane, and I'm just like wearing it is just so surreal still. But I love it. I love it that I have this, and I love that I can represent my studio and my community with it.
And you'll have it forever. And one of the cool things about your studio is they really were. I don't know if there's anybody happier than your studio mates.
I know. Everyone is just so happy for me, and it makes me happy because I don't want anyone feeling like I'm taking over, their spotlight or something. Because we're all a family. We all get equal opportunity at my studio, And I love dancing. They're like my sisters and my brothers. Like I wouldn't expect anything less from them, and I really appreciate everything they've done for me.
Every time I would see something on social media, they had cake and they were signing posters, and the smiles were it was almost every day there was something for you.
Laura, she threw a party every class. She gave cupcakes to everyone, like the whole week that it was announced. It was just, she was so happy, and she still is. There's still a banner in our studio saying, "Congratulations, Alena," and I look at it and I just smile every time.
Yeah. So what did you do? What was the next few weeks and like after you were crowned?
A lot of training, a lot of dancing, figuring out costumes, music, types of dances, a lot of the, stuff that goes into a performance and my solos, but also just a lot of reflecting and trying to grow my mindset and my confidence, and that helps with the training, because if I go into training with, a clouded mind, and I think things like, well, what if I don't deserve this? What if I wasn't supposed to be picked? Then all of that, I can't put my best into it. So I really tried to think positively for myself, because I've always struggled with that, and surround myself with positivity so I could grow into a better person and a dancer throughout Fiesta and for others.
And what I've really appreciated is you've embraced this this unique year. You've embraced it with a smile, with a passion. I mean, I don't think there is even any looking back. Can you explain how that evolved and why?
After everything happened with COVID and our schools got shut down, and my dance show got canceled, and my school's musical got canceled, it was just a lot of negativity, and that was with me for a long time. Whether I knew it or not, it was always in the back of my head. So I really wanted to push and try to be more positive. Like I said, I wanted to reflect and think of ways to better myself, better my studio, better the community, better my platforms. I wanted it to be as positive as it could, because it's a really hard time, whether people know it or not.
Yeah, I'm an optimist by nature, and having that smile has been really helpful. I mean, you've brought in this community so much joy, and we did it on the steps of KYT. Do you remember your first dance? It was a little different, but you're in front of 40 to 50,000 people on the 5 o'clock news versus a 200-person party. Yeah. Well, were you nervous there at all, or were you just having fun at that point?
That performance, I was very nervous, because it was my first time performing that in front of an audience. But I was just having a lot of fun, and it was amazing dancing, seeing the whole view of Santa Barbara, behind me. I was just like, it doesn't feel real. It was like a dream, honestly.
I know that feeling. And then we've danced. We've danced since. We've tried to find platforms. We have these Music and Dance Fridays, which you've been shining at. You're going to be on again this Friday. So are you working on, do you have new dresses? Do you have new dances? How are you doing that?
I'm working on new dances. I'm performing a different dance than I have been the past 2 weeks. This Friday, I have new dresses coming. I'm designing my spirit dress and all that. So still a lot of work, but I'm really excited to show you guys what I have.
Can't wait. What's been the highlight of this year so far?
I wish I could say all of it, because really, honestly, it has been, this whole experience has been the highlight of my year so far. But I'd have to say, seeing people's faces when I'm finished dancing is the only thing that matters to me. When I see people have a bright smile on their face after they watch me and know that I put that on their face, is just, it pushes me more, and it's just amazing. Especially after my first performance, seeing you and Angelique and my mom and Roxanne, Alexandra's mom, and Alexandra, and them just being there and supporting me after that. I was just, and seeing them and your comments to me, it was just, amazing. A big highlight.
Yeah, you're amazing. One of the cool things is that you get to meet somebody like Alexandra, as your junior spirit. She talked a little bit earlier about she has a sister for life now. How have you two bonded?
Well, we talk all the time whenever we're together, and we just share our love for dance. Honestly, I've always wanted a younger sibling, because I'm the youngest in my family. So I like having her around, and I like hearing her perspective on things. Sorry, because she's younger than me, and I don't think the way the way she does, and you know, we don't dance the same. We both have very different styles, and I appreciate that, and we can bond over that.
Yeah, it's unique to have a kind of a 2020 Fiesta family. We had St. Barbara the other day, and it just seems to keep growing and getting better as we try to bring joy to the community through dance and music. Are you looking forward to anything in particular over the next 3 weeks?
I'm looking forward to Pequeña, and I'm looking forward to wearing my white dress and doing my dance for everyone, and I'm excited to perform with my group again and for everyone to see us and support us, and I just want to see everyone's smiles. I can't wait to see everyone just bring positivity as much as I can to it.
Yeah, and speaking of positivity, your whole community has gone kind of crazy. I think seen all the write-ups in the Lompoc Record, the Santa Maria Times, even the congressmen are writing congratulatory notes to you. I mean, that's got to feel great.
No, it's crazy. I love it.
Yeah, me too. And then, you know, talk about bringing that positivity to this community over the next over this 2020 Fiesta season. If you had a message for all of us, what would it be?
I'd probably say that positivity comes in the little things, and that if you can try to find happiness in those, then you'll be content, and it'll take you away from these hard times just for a little bit, even if it's just for a few minutes. And I hope Fiesta, our virtual Fiesta, can do that for people.
No, and it already has. It already has. Like I said, the joy and we heard the weeks of just even the musicians being able to play again, these dance troupes being able to come together and dance again. It's, you know, families and, you know, Fiesta, I've always said, lives in the heart in a lot of ways. So yeah, that's what we've done, and you're the big piece of it. Thank you for joining us today. It's
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
No, this is wonderful, and congratulations on being the 2020 Spirit of Fiesta. It's quite an honor and something that I hope you'll cherish for the rest of your life.
Thank you so much.
And reaching that goal, and setting it as a goal and reaching it. So thanks again, and Viva la Fiesta.
Thank you. Viva.
All right, I'm Eric Davis, El Presidente 2020, and I hope you enjoyed that conversation with Alena Velasco, the 2020 Spirit of Fiesta. So tune in, Facebook, and all our video channels for the full lineup of Old Spanish Days 2020. Signing out, and Viva la Fiesta.